Do you believe that God delights in you? Do you believe that God adores you? Do you believe that God is deeply, madly, passionately in love with you? We tidy up Advent way too much. We make it too neat, too modest, too chaste. This is a season that ends with a birth in a barn. Think about that. Not just a birth, but a birth in a barn. That is not neat and tidy. In fact, could there be anything that is messier? Not only the blood and the screaming and the raw fear and pain and joy of the birth, but the literal earthiness of the straw, the dirt, and the pungent smells and restless sounds of animals who, far from pastoral, are surely restless and annoyed that their home and sleep has been interrupted. This is a season that ends with God, the divine self, being so consumed with passion that she cannot help but let go of the very privilege of being God, so that instead she can become God with us, Emmanuel. This is a season that is about God making the decision to go from the highest high, the power of divinity, to the lowest low, the helplessness of a baby born in virtual slavery. And if that's how this season ends, how must it begin? What would drive God to do that? Why would anyone do that? Love? Yes, of course, love. But even that word isn't enough, because we've even sanitized that word to within an inch of its life. Love? Yes, of course, love, but not a Hallmark card neatly placed on your pillow love. Not a gentle peck on the cheek and a knowing glance love. The love that compelled God above us to become God with us can only be a love of deep delight, a love of single-hearted adoration, a love of deep, mad, yearning passion. The love that compelled God above us to become God with us can only be a love where the whole divine ached with longing for each and for all of us, that kind of ache when lovers are so close and yet cannot seem to touch. That kind of ache where passion being forbidden or thwarted just makes it burn hotter. That kind of love. This is not a neat and tidy kind of love, God's love for us. This is not a Victorian leave your calling card and a rose kind of love. This is an I will die without your touch kind of love. And that means this season, this Advent, is not just a season of preparing, but a season of courtship, of God desperately wooing us. The Advent lessons we read tonight are love letters penned by a pining lover, and the Advent carols are sonnets breathlessly sung in hopes their notes will set our hearts on fire. So I ask you again, do you believe that God delights in you? Do you believe that God adores you? Do you believe that God is deeply, madly, passionately in love with you? If you're anything like me, the answer is difficult. Not just because we're not used to associating God with raw passion, although I'm not sure why, because our Bible is dripping with God's passion for us, but because we aren't used to believing that love, that deep, that mad, that passionate, can be for us. And yet, it is. It really is. God delights in you. God adores you. God longs for you. God is deeply, madly, passionately, head over heels, can't sleep at night, sweaty palms and pounding heartbeat when you're around, in love with you. And it's not neat and tidy. It is messy and fraught and fumbling and hungry and all the things that mad, passionate love can be. God is deeply, madly, passionately in love with you. And these readings are God's love letters. These carols are God's love songs. God is deeply, madly, passionately in love with you. Believe it. Trust it. Let it set you on fire.